Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a video that I have been excited and wanting to do since I've started my channel. I'm going to be talking today about my brow routine and how I get my eyebrows done. I'm sure you were like, Lindsay, what's wrong with your face? You look washed out. Are you sick? No, I just don't have my brows on. I'm one of those people that I cannot leave my house without my brows, and if I have left my house without my brows, it's probably not a good day for me. I used to not be that way though. There was a time in my life where I knew nothing about makeup. In fact, most of my life I've known nothing about makeup. I've gotten into makeup in the last few years or so, but growing up and through high school and everything, I knew absolutely nothing. I knew nothing about brows or anything like that. Like, nobody did stuff like that. Nobody does stuff like that around where I'm from, and I never really paid it much attention. But of course I did overpluck my brows, and I plucked them in like really weird shapes, and shapes that like shouldn't even be considered as eyebrows, but I was plucking them because I was real insecure for some reason, even though I had no idea what I was talking about or what I was doing. My brows were honestly a huge disaster. I've gone through the biggest brow struggle that you could ever imagine. I'm telling you that it was so severe that when I did discover the art of brows and I kind of figured it out for myself, that I looked back and I said, everybody who was in my life back then that let me walk out of the house like that, I'm mad at you. What were you doing allowing me to leave the house looking like that? It was honestly so bad. So I went from growing up to not doing much makeup at all and not putting any makeup on my brows, but plucking the weird shapes out of them. So I did that all the way through high school, and then at the end of high school I started noticing that people were doing their eyebrows. So I was like, okay, let me get in on that, even though I had no idea what I was doing or what was going on. I didn't research it at all. I just grabbed a brow pencil. Technically it was a brown eyeliner pencil, but I grabbed a pencil, dang it, I was trying, and I just started coloring in my weird shapes. So I went from weirdly shaped eyebrows to weirdly bold shaped eyebrows. It was terrible, and I just kept doing that for a while. I kept making weird shapes and coloring them in, and making different weird shapes and coloring that in. And it wasn't till like the end of 2016 till I like really discovered makeup and dove into learning how everything actually works. So I started to attempt doing my eyebrows then, and when that started, because I was a beginner and had basically no talent or no practice at all in makeup, it went from what is on her face to, girl, you need to stop. I'd kind of stopped with the weird shapes, and I knew that I had to let my brows grow out, so I was letting them grow out, but I was also trying to shape them into what I wanted at the same time. But of course I was a beginner, so I was just like shaping it and coloring it in, and it wasn't a perfect shape because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't like fading it out and making it natural. So it was just like a kind of chunky, really bold block on my face, and that just wasn't a good look for anybody. So I mean, I just kept practicing. Every time I would do my eyebrows, I would take a picture, and sometimes I would be blind and like the way I looked, but my family was weirdly supportive, even though they were probably dying on the inside looking at my face. I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures like throughout the years to show you my brow struggle throughout history. Like, it's a bad one, and you probably want to see it and laugh at it, so I'm gonna show it to you because this brow glow up is real. I still feel like my brows have some room to grow, but I'm really enjoying my brow routine, and I'm kind of proud of my brows now, especially through what they've been through. So yeah, I finally just kept practicing, and I got it together to where I am now. And again, it's not perfect, but it's a long way from where I was. So today's video, I'm just gonna be showing you how I do my brows on a daily basis. I hope this helps some of you guys, because I do get asked how I do my brows sometimes, and if it doesn't help you, I hope you get a good laugh out of my brow struggles in the past. So without further ado, let's do it. Okay, this isn't relevant to the video at all, but I'm sure you can tell that my face isn't as clear as it normally is, and that's because I didn't use my Clarisonic to wash my face the night before last. So that's what I'm talking about. If you've seen my video on the Clarisonic, that I have to use it or I will break out. Okay, I know I normally get out of frame when I do the up closeness, so I'm going to try my best today to keep it in frame. But I'm just going to start out with my NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and I'm in the shade Ash Brown. So I'm going to start out by brushing on my brow hairs upward with the spoolie, and that's just kind of get the shape going and you can already tell they already look slightly better brushed up. And both of my brows individually have their own thing going on. I have to treat each of them specially, but it is the same process with both of them. They just got their own little tweaks to it. So I'm gonna start out at this corner, and I'm just gonna kind of lightly flick it upward. And it's okay if I don't get a super straight line, because I usually like to go in with concealer afterwards and clean everything up. I don't always do that, but when I'm feeling sloppy, I do. So I just kind of make that shape all the way across. And if you step back, you can already see that it's kind of starting to get a shape to it. And then right here I have a weird little corner, so I kind of like to fill that in and bring that downward a little bit. Then I'm going to brush these over so that I can see the line on the top. And I'm just going to kind of follow the shape of my brow. Okay, so now that I have those lines in place, I'm just going to fill in the middle part. I'm not going to go to the front yet because I have to blend that out a little bit. But I'm just going to fill in all the empty spaces in the middle. And so after I fill that in, I'm going to brush it so that I get all those like weird chunks out and it's not clinging into one area. And then I'm going to brush my hairs upward to reveal those patches underneath where I missed. And I'm just going to fill that in, and that's just going to ensure that it's filled in all the way. Okay, and now after I've done that, I'm going to go to the front of it, and this is the part that I have to concentrate the most on. Now I know I'm like really sparse and missing brow hairs here, so I'm just going to lightly flick upward. And now after I finish that, it looks like it could be done, but it also looks kind of bold and chunky. So what I want to do is I want to fade that end. I want to take this spoolie and I'm just going to kind of lightly brush it back and forth on the edge here. And that's just going to fade out that edge. And then I'm going to take it and brush it upward. And that's going to fade it to the top. And then I have to do that at least one more time, sometimes a couple more times, because that does fade out the color quite a bit. But it's better than it looking too much, you know? Okay dokie, so that one's on. I am going to go back and clean these up with concealer, but first I'm going to finish up this other brow. Okay, so now that I've got the kind of rough shape of it down, sometimes I'll want to leave it like this and I'll just brush through it with some brow gel and be done with it. And sometimes I'll spend more time on it and get it more precise so that I don't have to use concealer and clean it up. But for most of the time, I'm using concealer and cleaning it up just because I really like those clean lines. For me, I go back and forth between my Maybelline Master Conceal and my Maybelline Fit Me, but it really doesn't matter what concealer you use. And I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand like this, just a really tiny dot because you don't need a lot. And I'm going to take my Essence Precise eyeliner brush. I've talked about this a few times. It is by far the best brush that I've found to carve out my brows because it is so sharp and precise. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab my brush very lightly in the concealer, and then I'm going to kind of tap off the excess so it's not too much going in at once. And then I'm just going to start carving them out. And I will go back in and dip back into the concealer as I need. As you can see, I messed up a little bit. I got a little bit of concealer on my brows and erased a tiny bit of that line there. That's okay. I mess up all the time. I'm just going to go back in and fill that tiny little bit in back with the pencil, and I might go over it again with the concealer. It's just kind of hard to do this on film. Normally I'm like really up close to my mirror. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a really small brush like this. This is an e.l.f. brush. It's from their $1 line. It doesn't have a name on it, so I don't know what it's called, but it's really small. The hairs are really short. It's really dense, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to wipe away the concealer. But after that, and what I never hear anybody talking about in their brow tutorials, and this is something that I always have to do, and that's why I like this brush so much, is after I wipe it away, there's still going to be that line of concealer really close to my brows, and it's going to be kind of a chunk line, but really close, so it's not that noticeable, but it's noticeable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this really small brush, and after I wipe it away, I'm going to kind of stipple around the edges and make that fade into my skin. And all that's going to do is help it look a lot more natural and realistic. Okay, that is all I do for that, and that makes the world of difference when making it look a little more natural looking. And the last thing that I like to do is I like to go in with a brow gel, and that's just going to help my hair stand up and stay up throughout the day. And trust me, they need some help. I go back and forth between the Loreal Brow Stylist Plumper in medium to dark and the Colourpop Brow Boss Gel. Both are really good, just this one is tinted and this one is not tinted. Obviously I use the tinted one when I want a little more color and, I don't know, gradient throughout my eyebrow. And this one is when I just feel like popping some brow gel in and going. But lately the one I have been using more is the Colourpop Brow Boss Gel, so I'm going to be going in with that today. It goes on white, but don't let that scare you. It dries, and it dries clear. And we're done. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I am noticing my arms in the viewfinder, and oh my gosh, I almost wore a jacket over this today because I was like, my arms are so pale, they're gonna blind everybody. But anyway, I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. I know that I would have found it helpful if I had found this tutorial a long time ago. But if you didn't find it helpful, I hope that you at least got a laugh out of it, because I know everybody in my life did. So thank you guys so much for watching. If there's anything else you want to see from me, any tutorials or how-tos or whatever, leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you liked it. That really helps me out. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Hey guys. So I did that all the way. So I did that all the way through high school, and no bitch, who's farting? That stinks so bad. I'm just gonna be showing you how I do my brows. So without further, what was that? A little drum roll. I'm just gonna, else you want to see from me, guys?